Once you've done the outside of the building, you go through the inside and look again for every pipe and wire and anything else going through the exterior walls. Don't worry about the ceiling. People worry about the ceiling of the basement. You don't want to do that because heat rises, so again, all the heat will go up through into the living space. You just want to stop the cold air from coming into the building. Don't forget the small holes. Even teeny holes, you know, air will act like water and will funnel down into the teeniest holes to get in and out. So be really thorough. While you're there, there's something called the sill plate, which is where the foundation, where there's a wood piece on top of the foundation. There's like a wood timber that goes all the way around the building. And you want to seal the crack where the wood touches the foundation, where it touches the cement or brick or stone or whatever, and where it touches the wood above that. Because that crack, cement and stone or brick will expand and contract in temperature changes at a different speed than wood will. So that crack between the foundation and the sill plate will expand a lot in the cold. So that you'll get a big hole that can give you up to 20% of your air infiltration. So use what's called spray foam. You can get it at any hardware store. Great Stuff is the thing you find most often. It's a product of spray foam. It comes out like whipped cream. You want to wear goggles while you do it, and this is spray foam if you get it on your skin. So I just came from an attic, air sealing. So don't get it on your skin. Wear long sleeves, wear gloves, wear goggles, because God knows you don't want to get the stuff in your eyes. It's the stickiest stuff known to, I think, to Martians. I don't know where it comes from, but it's you really don't want to get it in your eyes.
Wear crappy clothes, real crappy clothes. If you get it on your clothing, though,
it's there.
It comes out real easily with scissors. Don't get it on your clothing. Don't get it on your skin or in your eyes.
Or, yeah. Yep, I've ruined many clothing, you know, a lot of clothing this way. And also, the same with your hair. Don't, you know, wear a hat. Again, do around the windows. So you want to get in the basement, especially. You want to get between the foundation, you know, anywhere where one substance hits up against another substance. So wood to concrete, wood to brick, wood to, you know, vinyl to wood, any sort of seam that you see, you want to caulk along. And you don't want to caulk the window shut. So don't get the points where things are supposed to move. If the sash is supposed to move up and down, don't caulk that seam, because otherwise you won't be able to open the window. Does that sort of make sense? Pipe stacks. So if your plumbing pipe goes down and into the sewer, into the floor of the building, all the way through the basement and into the, you know, foundation of the building, and then it goes up. That pipe stack here goes all the way up through the building and out into your attic. And plumbers, when they're working, they're like, hey, I think I need a little elbow room. So they cut a big hole around the stack, around the pipe, and they don't seal it up afterwards. So if you follow this pipe stack up, it goes up underneath each one of your sinks, every toilet, and out into the attic. So it's a great superhighway for heat to escape. It'll just go right up along that pipe stack. So you want to use some spray foam or something to seal around the base of this pipe stack in the basement, and again, around the bottom of it, where in the attic, along the attic floor, because otherwise that heat can just whistle through your house. Here's a nice comfy couch, looks warm, all that. This is what it looks like with infrared. Infrared is a way of seeing where there's cold and where there's heat. So cold goes dark. So you can see right here that baseboard, see the baseboard, is leaky. The cold air is wisping up along the baseboard and along between the baseboard and the floor. So you want to caulk any gaps like that along exterior walls. And it's closer. You can just see the you know, the cold just wisping in. It's really cool. Here's after we did some work, and you can see right where that where that marker is, that target sign, somebody caulked, but then they didn't get over behind the table because they didn't want to move the table. And they were like feeling a little lazy, so they didn't move the couch. So they got like a foot, and they didn't do the other parts. So be thorough, be careful, try to get all of it. A tube of caulking costs between $2 and $4. So, go wild. It's so worth it. Here's a corner of a window, the window trim, and you'll see where I've circled in red. There's no caulking there. You can see the sort of white line where the caulking is. It looks like Elmer's glue. And then here's what it looks like with infrared. So you see how those little holes, small holes, 3 inches long, that bigger one, you can see all the cold just drafting out of there. So be careful. Get all the, every bit of trim. And above windows and doors, like painters go in, they paint the wall, they'll caulk for appearances around the window trim, but they won't get where you can't see the window trim. So they'll miss the whole top of the door. They'll miss the whole top of every window a lot of the times, and the bottom of every window. So you get this sort of stuff. Again, cold radiating upwards. So get to the places you can't see normally unless you're on the Celtics team, and also where you couldn't see unless you were a leprechaun, underneath the window and above the window and doors. Here's a door. You can see the cold radiating underneath and out the sides of it. So if you have an exterior door, a door that leads to the outside, you can put a door sweep on. They take about a second to do. You just drill it in, 3 different screws. That's probably all you have to do. And then you do something called Q-Lon, which is a door weatherization strip. It's got a little rubber gasket on it, and you just have to nail it in place. You can buy that through EFI, and Home Depot sells some bad ones. There's probably other places you can get it from. Basement. So this is a cross-section of the basement. If this is what, sort of where you'd be looking up at the side, and you want to put that pink stuff is the rigid insulation. The blue stuff is spray foam, and the line of green is for caulking. And so you can just sort of see that's where I was talking about with the sill plate. You can either just air seal it like I did in the previous thing with spray foam, or you can actually insulate it if you want, because you can see where the sill plate is. There's about, or just above the sill plate, there's about, an inch of wood between you and the outside, and wood has an R value of 1 per inch. So you're just not getting a lot of insulation there. Here's somebody doing that job, and that's the spray foam that she's got in her hand. See how she's wearing goggles? You want to be careful if you do this. So make sure you don't miss gaps, because again, water, air is like water and it will funnel. Here's up in the attic. People put a lot of soffit vents in. They put see where it says soffit? There's normally a lot of vents there, and there's a lot of information now that you don't need ventilation in the attic, but people still do it. So you want to stop the cold air from coming into the house through different holes up there. So this is what you should do. Again, the pink is rigid insulation, the yellow is spray foam. And that's it, I think. No, yeah, the other picture was an attic hatch or an attic stairway. You should definitely insulate those, because that's just a great superhighway for hot air to get out into the attic. So, and you only go up there, I assume, probably once a year, if that. So insulate them and air seal them very well. There's a variety of products to do that. And then here's the pipe stack up in the attic. So you want to seal that hole. You can see if you had an elastic arm, you could stick your arm down that hole and wave it around in the basement. So you want to seal that hole. Here's the attic I was just working in. You see there's like a sea of insulation, and there's that big hole there. Sometimes, this is called a thermal bypass. It was, God knows why it's there, but there's just no insulation there. And there's all these cool holes in there that you could wave your arm, you know, again, if you had an elastic arm, you could just send it right down into the basement. So look around in your attic and see if there's anything like this. Because if there is, you're just paying to heat the great outdoors. You should seal it with spray foam and rigid insulation, assuming that it's not up against something that might get hot. So that masonry chimney, you wouldn't want to use rigid insulation or spray foam up against that, because there is the possibility the bricks could get hot, and you don't want to cause a fire, because spray foam and rigid insulation are petroleum products. So in those cases, you'd use either sheet metal or something else that won't burn for safety reasons. And that's it.